Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Sonic CD! Last time we wrapped up Palm Tree Panic and Collision Chaos, and now we are in Tidal Tempest, my personal favorite water level of the 2D games. Yeah, even more so than Hydro City. Or Hydrocity, however you want to pronounce it, but that's for a later time. Anyway, with Tidal Tempest, it kind of operates like Labyrinth Zone, but not as slow as Labyrinth Zone. It kind of does something similar to Aquatic Ruin in Sonic 2, where you can actually avoid a good chunk of the water if you know what you're doing. But I need to be able to show how to get to the past or where the robot generator is, so. And don't fret about failing to do so too many times, like getting to the past. Because the version that I'm playing has a really neat feature. It saves after every act as opposed to originally. I don't think I actually mentioned that, but yeah, Sonic CD actually has a save feature. Even like the older versions that we got, it saves after every zone you complete. But for the version that I'm playing, the Christian Whitehead version, it actually saves after every individual act. So if you're struggling to, if you're really struggling to get, find the, robot generator, or simply just go to the past, you can save scum as many times as you want. There's no penalty, minus having to constantly reattempt trying to do either the time travel or, the robot generator, or in this case, the special stage, because, as I mentioned before, if you get all 7 time stones, you make a good future for everything. Like, afterwards. As for this special stage, I believe this is the 4th one. This is the one where I started to struggle a little bit. I think if I remember correctly, I do end up winning this, but I will unfortunately admit that during the test playthrough, I got my butt handed to me. It was pretty miserable. Especially concerning the fact this is the part of the game where the UFOs start to move a little faster. Oh wait, maybe this isn't the 4th one, it's probably the 5th one? I don't remember all this. No, it's the 5th one. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is where the special stage ramps up in the difficulty because it's kind of hard to catch the UFO sometimes. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like, the special stages obviously have to get harder, but considering how this special stages play out, I don't know, I'm more annoyed than anything else. At least after a while. And don't worry about getting hit by all those spikes on the ground, because it's not like you can actually die in this special stage, you could only just run out of time. Okay, I did end up losing this. I probably should have cut that out. Just like Sonic 2, of course, I have to fail the 5th Emerald stage a large number of times. It's like, I mentioned that I was struggling with it during that playthrough. And I only eventually won. And the only reason I got rid of Tails is because, like, it was entirely because of him. I was failing the 6th Emerald stage. But whatever. That was before. This is now. Those little orbs, those weird faces are shooting. They're not actually they don't actually damage you. They just sort of push you. Which could be a little annoying if you're trying to get up to certain areas of the stage. Alright, to get to the pass sign, you're going to want to go up to the top area. And there should be a red spring. That was mean. I would consider that bad enemy placement if it didn't actually fly back and forth, if it just stood there motionless. Oh, and among other things, Tidal Tempest has got probably my second favorite track of the entire game, and that goes for the Japanese soundtrack. I have a different opinion when it comes to the American soundtrack. As for what my favorite one is, I'll give that away a little later when it's relevant. Now, a little nice attention to detail I appreciate is the fact that the water, like its color sort of changes. I mean, it's hard to notice immediately when you're in the water itself, because, well, it's water. Don't mind my fumbling around. I'm just trying to see if there are extra goodies, because I want to be able to. I want to go for the. I want to be able to get the time stones. Now, keep in mind, if you fail a special stage, it's not like Sonic 2 where you could just repeat the special stage. It kind of, just like the necessities to get to the special stages from Sonic 1, it also cycles through all the special stages like Sonic 1. So if you fail special stage 2 or 3, and I died. The reason I would have cut that death out, but the last thing, but the second act would open up super awkwardly, because it's like, for one, if you die in the past, I am stuttering so much it's obnoxious. I apologize. But if you die in the past portion of the stage, when you restart the level or you respawn at a checkpoint, you will still be in the past. You don't respawn back in the present. It's a little dark when I think about it. It's like you died in the past, so I guess there's no present then because you're dead. But this is a video game. But yeah, like I was saying, if you fail special stage like 3, 4, 5, whatever, instead of redoing that special stage, you just move on to the next one. You will eventually cycle back to that special stage that you failed, but again, it's like Sonic 1. In my case, as I failed special stage 5, I'm going to end up doing number 6 and 7 before having another chance of doing 4. And just a heads up, I nail it. I nailed the special stage 5 next time, for certain. And let me just say, special stage 6 has got a bit of a, I'm gonna say, acid trip. Look at this! Look at this! What is happening in that background? I wonder if this is where they got the idea for the title for Sonic Colors. Like, look at it, it's so bad. And and I do apologize ahead of time. Hopefully you're not full screening this. You probably are. Whoops. This can be a little painful on the eye, so I do advise against. I do suggest minimizing the screen just temporarily, because that is painful to look at least for some people. I mean, I'm okay with it, but still, that's not a pretty sight you want to look at constantly. It's like you're looking at a kaleidoscope for longer than you really want to. I've never owned one of those. Is there a selling point to those besides just being hypnotic? Anyways, that was a weird rant to go on. But I got the sixth time stone, which is purple, so that's kind of nice. Yes! Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot to mention that. Sonic CD, it's the first time Sonic has a voice, but he only says a few quips here and there. Yeah, he doesn't say much. But yeah, welcome to the good future of the third act of Tidal Tempest. That was a mouthful. Go to the right for another yes! I don't know. I don't know. It's oddly satisfying to hear Sonic say yes whenever he gets an extra life. It's like, yes! It's like I did it! Alright, so I kind of wasted a lot of time here because I thought I could take the preemptive. This stage wraps. Like, you're constantly going in a loop until you hit Robotnik 3 times. It's kind of like a Labyrinth Zone in that regard. Like a dope, I ended up wasting a lot of time. So it's like I hit him, I collect the rings, and I'm gonna stand here waiting for him. Robotnik actually doesn't move, and that's kind of an. And by the time I realized this, I felt so stupid. Like it literally started moving once I got going. But once you do manage to chase him, you'll meet him down here where the boss commences proper. Now you only have to hit him once in order for the battle to end. But the gimmick with this battle is that Robotnik is constantly surrounded by bubbles, and if you do manage to grab all the air bubbles, I think he respawns them. I also would advise against being a little reckless, going for them as often as quickly as you can, because because whenever you grab an air bubble, you'll notice that Sonic will immediately get launched downwards towards the ground, and you could easily be launched into those projectiles like I was. See, look, I had one air bubble to go, so I nearly had him respawn all of his bubbles. I think, but keep in mind, I've never seen this happen. It's just heavily implied that he does respawn all of them. But anyways, you grab as many air bubbles as you can. You just wait till he floats down so you can attack him. You're probably wondering why the next zone loaded up so quickly. I'm glad you asked. Quartz Quadrant gave me the worst time trying to get to the past. At first, I thought I could just grab the pass sign and just go down that chute. That ended up not being the case because you gotta build a decent amount of speed. And unfortunately, simply going down that chute doesn't help. Apparently in older versions, you could do it that way. Like, you grab that pass sign, you change the conveyor belt, the direction that the conveyor belt's going, which is the main gimmick of Quartz Quadrant, and I quite like it. But you gotta build a decent amount of speed, and that can be really annoying. I think this took me 6-7 tries. Thankfully, you didn't have to see any of that because I cut it all out, which again is why the zone loaded up so quickly. And just to get this out there, Quartz Quadrant is my favorite track in the Japanese soundtrack, bar none. I love Quartz Quadrant so much. It is amazing. And aesthetically, if we're talking the present, I love it. It's great. There's like crystals everywhere. The conveyor belts are really neat. Because you got these little they're in the past and the future as well. You get these little switches whenever you run by one of them. It basically switches which direction that the conveyor belt is moving. So if it's pointing to the left, the conveyor belt will try to push you. If it's pointing to the right, it'll pull you, so you'll be able to go a little faster. Essentially, the conveyor belt will carry you. So that's pretty cool. There's also a few chutes throughout the level, so that or tubes, whatever. It's a really fun stage, I might add. It's not it's hard to say if it's my favorite stage of the whole game. that might go. If it's not Quartz Quadrant, it's probably Tidal Tempest. I don't want to cheap out and say Palm Tree Panic simply because it's the first zone. Some people might argue one of the last zones of the game, and I would agree with that, but with this recent playthrough, I can't. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Alright, welcome to the Special Stage 7. There is water everywhere in this level. It's such a pain. This is the most dangerous because not only are the UFOs the fastest they could be at this point in the special stages, again, there is so much water, so there are so many opportunities for you to lose time. And for some stupid reason, I got this time stone super quickly. I don't like to think that the 5th time stone stage is harder than than 6 and 7. But I don't know what was going on with me. It's like I failed the 5th one, but I did 6th and the 7th one effortlessly. Especially the 7th one. And just like the first act, it took me a good number of tries to get the pass with this one too. It's because of the level design, in my opinion. I did say this could probably be my favorite zone, but like I said in part 1, your level of enjoyment stems from whether or not you go out of your way to actually do the passes. You go out of your way for the robot generators. If you're playing this like a standard Sonic game, you'll get a lot more mileage out of it than I did, personally. At least with this playthrough. I still consider Sonic CD a fantastic game, it's just when you're actively having to play the game a certain way, it can be a tad frustrating. And you kind of feel like a jerk not getting the good ending. I mean, the endings aren't radically all that different, but believe me when I say you feel a little amount of guilt when you actually get the bad ending, just a little bit. And apparently, breaking that robot generator got me an extra life. Yay! Now at this point, I'm sort of scouring for rings because I don't want to fail the special stage again. It's like I felt bad for not winning before. Do not go past the goal sign. I believe the screen locks. If you're still trying to collect rings before trying to attempt the special stage, don't go past the goal sign, or at least the sign leading to the goal sign post. A sign pointing you to where a sign? Signception. But yeah, don't go past it because I believe the screen locks once you go past it. And now that we managed to do that, we can actually legitimately do that next zone. And just a heads up, once you get all the time stones, I said you automatically make a good feature for all the zones. I will still be showing the robot generators for the next 2 zones. I unfortunately did not show off the robot generators for the final zone. You could chalk that up to me being lazy, it's totally fine. It's just that I struggled with the other one so much, I was just overly paranoid that I was going to struggle twice as much. Because, jumping the gun just a slight bit, the final zone's level design makes going to the past a little infuriating. And I've only done it a small handful of times in the previous games, and not to mention, finding the robot generator in said zone could be a bit of a pain too. So just a heads up, I apologize, but I didn't get the I didn't show off the generators in the final zone. I do show it off in the next two at the very least, but I didn't want to be stuck in that zone for what felt like an eternity. And here I am having the same exact problems as I did with the previous level. And look at that, 3 seconds to spare and I nailed it. I cut it close, but I did get it, and that's what counts. Now, the reason I said that I'm at least going to be able to show you where the robot generators are is because once you get all the time stones, as I said, you get a good feature for all the later zones. The robot generator will already be destroyed if you try to go to the past to find it. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't do anything for the badniks in the present, but what have you, it's a video game. Oh, by the way, this music track has pretty good stuff too. The good feature, it's really nice. Alright, now this boss is pretty unique because you're not exactly attacking Robotnik. You're basically just trying to run on the conveyor belt and essentially grind the little machine he's standing on. And what I recommend you do, a little bit before the bomb drops, don't press any buttons, because if you try to go left, you can easily just careen yourself into those spikes at the side of at the left of the stage. So what I suggest is you just keep running. And a little bit before the that bomb drops, just stop pressing anything. Sonic will slow down just enough for you to just barely jump over it when it splits. And that was Core Squadron. Overall, good level. My favorite is, again, it's either this one or Tidal Tempest, but anyway, I'm ranting again. So with that said, next time on Sonic CD, we're going to tackle two of the worst levels of the game, or at least least favorite of the game. Oh boy. So until then, I got a juice.